Would I be the asshole if I canceled my nephew's college fund over his rudeness? I know you hear the title and you're like, how bad could this possibly be? Get ready.
Yeah, buckle up.
My wife and I have been married for 12 years, and the nephew in question is my brother's oldest son, who I'll call Michael for this post. Michael's 16 and the oldest of my brother's 2 boys. Michael was a baby when my wife and I got together, and she has always treated him and my brother's other son like family, just the same as she treats her own siblings' kids. My wife has a significant inheritance, and we both earn generous wages. It was her idea to open college savings accounts for Michael and his brother when they were babies. This is likely to be the only family money for college they'll receive. Last weekend, my brother and the boys came over for dinner, and we all had a nice time, though the youngest one was on his Switch the whole time, and Michael was on his phone. I didn't think anything of it until the following Tuesday, when I found my wife sobbing after work, and she showed me an Instagram post made by Michael, who apparently is too stupid to realize we both follow him, as do his grandparents. He posted a picture of my wife from behind, and a picture he apparently took of her underwear laid out on our bed, both mocking her size, she's overweight, and calling her a big bitch, among other things. My wife was devastated and humiliated and hurt because she's always had a good relationship with him. I'm furious and want to cancel his college savings account right now. Taxes be damned. My wife says she'd be too embarrassed to do this since she's an adult and shouldn't be so hurt by a child, and just wants to pretend it didn't happen. I already told his dad and let his dad deal with it at home, but I'm still furious and want to cancel the account Monday. Would I be the a-hole?
Seriously, this kid needs therapy. This is very over-the-top, mean, and cruel. Maybe if OP and the wife talked to the teen and explained how hurtful his actions are, that could help.
I'm going to go ahead and confess to initially going, you're the a-hole here, because I felt that OP's desire and his wife to cut funding came from a vengeful place. Totally understandable how the wife feels, how he feels. I get it. I just don't think that it came from a parental place.
He says that this kid is like family, and I think if that's really true, this isn't to me a case of, well, it's my money, I do what I please.
Right. I think the role of a parent, it's very different from that of a friend or a casual aunt and uncle, and I think they're adopting that to an extent. You have to take the punches and not punch back. So that's where my initial you're the asshole answer came from. I don't think an uncle is a dad, but I think based on the fact they even have a college fund and the way this guy said it, like family, all that, there's some of that going on.
So let's just assume the uncle in this case is playing at least somewhat of a parental role. What is the role of a parent?
Center for Parenting Education.org says it's twofold: nurture and structure. What's nurture? Love, attention, understanding, acceptance, time, and support. What's structure? Impose rules, use discipline, set limits, establish and follow through with consequences, hold your children accountable for their behavior, and teach values.
So does that require, though, paying for his college? A lot of commenters said that he doesn't deserve it.
Bronwyn Ariel Isaac writes, this is a borderline sex crime and indicative of his views towards women in general. It is completely reasonable for the aunt to not want her money going toward him.
This is so above and beyond like standard shitty teen behavior.
I agree, but I think that being in a parental role, which I think they've jumped on for a little bit, I think that means that you have to go above and beyond. You don't get to be reasonable. Now, that may be overreaching because ultimately, like I said, he's not their son, and it's not clear how much of a parental role they play, but it's obviously more than chill uncle and aunt who smoke you out in their basement.
Jen Lapp writes, stealing underwear is a predictor of committing future crimes. No doubt this kid is going to start looking into people's windows soon. Definitely cancel that college fund. He's going to end up in jail anyway.
What if they could do something that guarantees that won't happen? That's my first thought. Erica Spira writes, quote, snooping in his aunt's drawers alone is a huge violation. Even bigger with the picture. Give him the option to earn the college money, whether it be doing chores around the house, volunteering, grades, etc. If he doesn't want to earn it back, then take it and go on a nice vacay with your beautiful wife.
For me, I think a genuine apology is the most important thing.
Mary says, cancel that shit and give it to a more deserving kid. F his little rude ass, not the asshole.
So pretty much no one is saying that he should keep his college fund. But like, why would this kid even want to go to college?
Right. This doesn't seem like a kid who's pining for more education. And that's my first thought, is this kid needs more education, more support. Who better to take Feminism 101 than someone who would do something like this as a 16-year-old?
But he can still do that, just with a lot of debt.
This is an impulsive kid. He's out of line. He's clearly not thinking about the future. I like the idea of giving him more structure.
Anna Marie writes, he should confront the kid to his face and see how he responds, not just let the dad handle it. I think it would be awful to just remove the college fund without a discussion. They need to talk about it first.
Ben says, I would explain to him what he did was mean and cruel to both overweight people and his loving family. If he remains unrepentant, then by all means throw him out the airlock, but he should be confronted with what he's done and given a chance to change. He should be motivated to do so by genuine contrition.
This was just really cruel on every single level.
It was also inept.
Yeah, I mean, he knew that they were following him. He should have known this would hurt her feelings and be a huge issue. And, this was just generally bad content.
There was no way he couldn't get caught. This is like robbing a bank and staring into the surveillance camera for 5 minutes while holding your ID up.
It almost seems like a cry for help.
I think it does. Anna Marie says, at the end of the day, what the kid did is basically online bullying, sexual harassment, and he did it to a family member. I think he needs therapy, honestly.
Therapy seems like the best call. Bullies need therapy, but people who publicly shame their family after snooping through their underwear drawer desperately need therapy.
He's saying that the kid's family, his brother, has no other funds. I'm worried that they wouldn't be able to afford therapy. And I think that's why I felt this initial YTA. After thinking about it, this guy and his wife are not the a-holes if they pull the funds. But the gift of a college fund, well, what is it? It's ultimately an investment in this kid's future.
And therapy is an investment in the kid's future.
Exactly. And by doing this, this kid is expressing his future needs more help, not less. Yanking the money as retribution. Remember, OP said he's furious. This is starting to sound, the yanking, like an eye for an eye justice situation. And how is that a win? Now you just have someone who's equally effed up and now has less resources to help them. Do you want to pay for this kid's therapy? I don't. Do you want to pay for his jail cell? I definitely don't. I'd rather OP do it. OP already said they're investing. He has a right not to. I grant him that. But clearly they're of means. So why pool the investment in his future? Precisely because his actions are so serious. I was never defending what this kid did. I think what he did is horrible. I just think he's a kid that needs to be fixed.
Yes, so not the a-hole for pulling the money.
Right.
But a more productive thing would be to help him out and get him some therapy.
I think so.
And another thing, OP didn't mention any history with this kid. So was this his big first fuck up?
I think that's all the more reason to think that therapy could really have an effect here.
I think his actions are deplorable and inexcusable, but I like to believe in people and believe that they can change. So some of our commenters suggested maybe get him some therapy, or at the very least, try and get him to see how wrong and hurtful his actions are and still help him out with the college. This could be a potential learning experience for him.
At this point, stepping in as the uncle is a big part of this. And to say yo, you really hurt my wife, wake up call. She's a human being, you piece of shit.
Right.
This is not the time, and maybe I'm overreading into his furiousness and his desire to pull the college funding, but I view it as pulling away. I think that's what I see because it's such a aggressive impulse and it's such a retributive impulse. And I think this is not the time to pull away. This is the time to get closer to this kid because something's up. And I'm not blaming his parents, but sometimes you need uncle to step in.
Yeah, this kid 100% desperately needs some help for sure.
I think what he did is very serious, despicable, all the more reason to jump on this. And I definitely agree with Jen Lapp, who said that this is predictive of future and heightened offending. Big ups to all our commenters. Really, Facebook went nuts on this, and I feel like I learned a lot. I changed what I thought a lot, so thanks to everyone. As usual, we would love any and all feedback. And I also want to note that we did try to interview 3 women over the phone on this. They were all busy, but I did try.
Thank you again to all the commenters. Really genuinely appreciate your feedback.